Hey, this is Shane, the Rising Grind Picker, and I'm here to help you save money and make money. And today I'm going to teach you about cease and desist letters for reselling because I've sold on Amazon, I've sold on eBay, and I've gotten a lot of cease and desist letters. And I'm going to teach you on what to do or what I would do in common situations. So the first common situation is I got my first cease and desist letter. This is the first common situation. So typically, what I would typically do is throw away my first cease and desist letter because they would always send a second. And they're not just going to sue you for nothing. So my first one I would always ignore. And I would either try to sell out. So if I was on Amazon and I got my first cease and desist letter and I had, let's say, 50 units left, I would always try to sell out, before the date given, because they always give you a date that you need to comply by in the letter. And I would always sell out before the date, and then I would just delete the listing. On eBay, obviously the listings that they're talking about, I either try to sell them, or you could always sell them on another platform, but the first letter I usually ignore. And I am going to add this. If they send you any kind of letter by email or anything, I don't ever respond to those because usually it shows up at your house. And they need to either serve you at your house or they need to send it by letter to your house. I've had them through email and I just don't think that would stand in court. Keep in mind, even though I sell on eBay full-time, I have a bachelor's and an associate's degree in criminal law. My bachelor's, I almost minored in business law, so I know a smidgen about what I'm talking about. Just a smidgen. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice or any kind of advice. This is just what I would do, so keep in mind of that. So it depends on what your cease and desist letter says. So if you want to reach out to me via email and tell me about your cease and desist letter for a small fee, I will look over your cease and desist letter and tell you what to do. So today is a listing day for me on eBay. So I am really listing. I have about 45 items to list, and then I got to do pictures again. So typically the second cease and desist letter, depending on the nature. So one time I got a cease and desist letter from GoPro and I just pulled everything down on the first one. I didn't even respond. I just complied because it was so bad. I just complied, and it was on eBay too. GoPro sent me a cease and desist letter on some like surfboard mounts. And they're like, if you don't pull these down, we're going to sue you. And I had sold a ton of them on Amazon, so I don't know if they just tracked it or whatever, did some investigating, but I just pulled them down and complied. And I'm like, I have complied. Thank you. And that's all I did. Like, I literally just complied with it. But it's all about the wording of the letter. And the wording of the letter is going to tell you what you need to do. That's why I am willing to help you. And basically it's the wording in the letter. So like if they say, one time Levi Jeans sent me a cease and desist letter on eBay. And I actually I was shipping Levi Jeans internationally, and I had like 100 listings of Levi's, and they sent me a letter saying it was a cease and desist, and it was saying you need to comply. We're not telling you cannot sell Levi's. We're telling you cannot sell them internationally. And certain types of Levi's, I guess, was not able. So every single Levi jeans, I had to change to no international shipping. And I did that, and I complied because they sent me the letter. And that was the first one. But the second one, most of the time, if it's just like the same letter as the first one, I just throw it away and I still don't comply. That's just me, but that's just me. And technically, if they want to do anything with any kind of trademarks, it's all federal court. And literally, federal court is a hassle for a small, literally, they're going to take a small seller that is selling on eBay to federal court. I highly doubt it. Okay, so here's the other thing. If you're on your third letter, I would just go ahead and comply. I wouldn't throw it away. I would comply and just do what they want. Typically, I don't fall into cease and desist. Like I said, I try to sell out of the product before they send me the second letter. I just try to sell out of it. I try to just avoid the conflict by selling out of it and deleting the listings if it's on Amazon, or selling out of it on eBay and then just not messing with it. So basically, the first letter I will throw away, and I'm just going to give you a recap on all this. The first letter, and this is my hanging trash bag, so I'm in my basement listing, so do not judge me. First letter I would throw away. Second letter, I'd probably, based on the wording, if it was the same wording as the first one, the same generic wording, they'll give you some really generic wording on the first letter. Please comply by blah, 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 this date. And I'd throw that one away. The second letter, typically, most companies, typically the second letter is the same. And I would just always throw that one away. And then the third letter is usually different, and I would usually comply. So it's all based off wording. Most of these companies, what they're doing is they have a secondary law firm, and there's these law firms that sell their services to these companies, and they scroll through eBay and Amazon and Mercari and all these internet storefronts, and they find sellers that sell these products, and they just send them cease and desist. That's their job. They pay them to do that. So typically the letters are generic. Sometimes they'll even come through email. I'm going to say this. Typically YouTubers make a big deal about cease and desist letters, but when I was selling on Amazon, eBay cease and desist letters are a lot more uncommon. But when I was selling on Amazon, I sold $500,000, over $500,000 on Amazon in an 8-month period. And I was getting like 2 cease and desist letters a week from companies. So they were a lot more common to me. So I guess if you sell on Amazon, they are a lot more common. There are certain spins to cease and desist letters, I guess, that could be a little bit more, I guess, uncommon. But it just really depends, like I said, on the wording of the letter and of the nature of the request of what they want. So based on all that, you can tell if it's a generic one, if it's a serious one. Like if it's a serious one, you need to comply. And this is where I can read it and I can tell you exactly what it is. So if you need help on that, let me know. Hit me up. But other than that, like that's the basic cease and desist letter. They're sending you a letter telling you they don't want you selling their stuff, or telling you that they don't want you to do something. So like when Levi's sent me that one, they did not want me to ship them internationally. So I made a special category in my business policies on eBay for Levi's, and I made it to where it was no international shipping. It was all United States, lower 48. I can't even ship them to Puerto Rico. Like it's not lower 48, it's just US only.